Hello and welcome everybody to episode 49 of this AFC South Show here on Curtis's Podcast Network. With me as always, Blake Bellamy. Blake, how you doing, brother?
I'm breathing.
I am alive.
How are you doing today?
That is all the information you get.
Last month of no football, man. I'm pumped.
Yes.
It's almost that time, boy.
But the Hall of Fame game's August 8th, right? It sounds...
Something like that.
Something like that, because I think school comes back on the 4th. So, yeah. I'm your host.
I pay tuition on me. It's a sad day for me.
Tuition payments. The bane of everyone. I'm your host, Curtis Brown, and let's get into it. Leading off, we didn't know that James Robinson tore his Achilles. Now, in our defense, for not knowing that James Robinson of the Jacksonville Jaguars tore his Achilles, he does play for the Jaguars. There's literally just zero media coverage of this team.
That's true. Yeah, it was big screw up by us. However, I still stand for the fact that he still might get some money next year. I mean, we did say he was going to get like a 1 or 2 year privy deal, so that's still accurate.
Yeah. The Jaguars are hoping that he will be available for Week 1. That's his plan. We shall see. Everybody comes back differently from an Achilles tear. I remember there was a Texans right tackle, Derek Newton, tore both of them on the same play, and we didn't see him for like 18 months.
Did he break dance, and how'd that even happen?
I have no idea. I'm pretty sure somebody just worked him real hard.
John Payton's probably Saints.
But shouts to Derek Newton. Hope you're doing well. But yes, so James Robinson, the person that we've been saying would probably be the most productive running back in the running back room for the Jaguars, is rehabbing an Achilles tear. So,
it still might happen. I mean, looking at ETN, he's also recovering from an injury.
That's true.
But I just have rookie Snoop Dogg or Snoop Connor as their next running back.
De facto number 2 or 3, depending on availability of the top 2. But we were talking about the other day. We would both seen that like top 10 worst receiving cores in the NFL, and the first like 3 or 4, we were like, yeah, that makes sense. I can't remember even who those were, but there was a solid 4 teams in the middle there that completely made up the representation of the AFC South.
Yeah.
And I get it. So the Titans, the Colts, the Texans, and the Jaguars were respectively, I think like 4 through 7 on that list.
Yeah, very well deserved. We had the best running backs, worst wide receivers.
I think that kind of goes hand in hand, though. You can't really have both. If you do,
you might also have some of the worst quarterbacks too, which also isn't very good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think Matt Ryan didn't even get 4,000 yards last year, right?
I don't know. He's just not as good. He's 38 years old or 36. He's old.
Yeah, I mean, just for the sake of it, I mean, I think he'll do all right. Historically, I know that the Colts don't do well on Week 1 games, especially against the division, and Houston plays Indianapolis Week 1. So a huge upset could be in the making. I hope it happens, but I doubt it.
He was 30 yards short of 4,000 last year, by the way.
Okay,
so almost 4,000.
Almost 4,000. But do you think any teams? Like, okay, so the South has a lot of younger wide receivers that need developing, or like in the Texans and the Jaguars case, they are sprinkled in with like some older veterans who make out like 50% of the roster while the younger guys are developing. Mm-hmm. Like with Houston, Brandon Cooks is clearly the lead. And then number 2, you assume it's Nico Collins, a young guy, 2nd year out of Michigan. And then number 3, you assume it's John Mechie. But Philip Dorsett came on really good last year, and Davis Mills developed a good rapport with him. Chris Conley, in his 8th year out of Georgia, is going to be playing for them again. That he had a pretty good relationship with Davis and had a couple touchdowns on some long balls. But like the Jags, they brought in Christian Kirk, who
84 million.
an $84 million man, never had 1,000 yards, but you also have the old man Marvin Jones Jr. as well as Zay Jones.
Yeah, Zay Jones, he's pretty solid. He might be their best wide receiver this year.
He might be, but I feel like everywhere, like his hype was never as big as it was when he was in like his first 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, I feel like he's definitely gone downhill in a production sense because he
I did.
really do
Yeah,
much.
I liked what he did in Vegas last year, though. He had some really like nice plays that you see him, you're like, wow, that's Zay Jones.
Yeah, right. And he has his moments,
Yeah.
like I think some people really do. But and then behind that, you got some younger guys and some second, third year players, some peppered vets.
Yeah, you got a Laviska Shenault. I mean, he was kind of a favorite of Trevor Lawrence, and I could see him having a breakout year. I loved him out of college, but his injuries, his issues.
I've heard that Laviska could be traded.
That wouldn't be surprising.
I've heard that potentially Dallas would be a landing spot. But regardless, and outside of that, they still did bring in often injured tight end Evan Ingram, who's basically a wide receiver. And he's going to bring some vertical speed to the middle of that position group there and the middle of the field. And then you look at like Tennessee, and clearly the number one is Robert Woods, but he's coming off a week 8 or 9 ACL tear. So, hopefully he'll be back for the start of training camp or, at least week 1. And then you hope that he's got some sort of relationship with Ryan Tannehill. And then Traylon Burks, who's, obviously the de facto replacement for A.J. Brown, but we don't know how that's going to work out, especially with asthma. And what did he gain weight or did he lose weight finally?
I mean, I follow him on Instagram and I watch his stories. It looks like he's finally starting to run. He was outside yesterday. Literally, it looked like he was running around his neighborhood. He was sweating, man. He was struggling. I want to know what his like mile time is. But I guess he's working. It's nice to see him actually doing that instead of like eating Doritos on a boat, which is never a good sign. Yeah, hopefully he turns out all right. His former head coach at Arkansas was asked about his conditioning issues, and he said he's had this issue. He says apparently man's not built for the summer. Summer in the South, man. I'm sure whenever he was looking at teams to draft, he was probably hoping to go to Minnesota or Buffalo or something like that, where it's not so damn hot here in Nashville. Yeah. So it looks like that's his issue. I personally, at least I hope, I'm optimistic. I hope he's going to be all right. Obviously, this doesn't look good. So, you invested a first-round rookie, you traded for him, traded away A.J. Brown for him, essentially, and he's just not doing anything. Hopefully he can play. I mean, Jamar Chase couldn't even catch a football this time last year, so we'll see what happens when he gets on the field. If he can play football, if he can run routes, block, and catch, that's all I care about. Right. If he has to take a couple plays off, whatever. So he got backups.
So behind Burks, we've got what? Phillips, the other rookie, Kyle Phillips.
Yeah, Kyle Phillips. Apparently, he's been lighting it up. I mean, that guy was a beast in college. I think he's going to be the slot wide receiver. You have Nick Westbrook-Akina, which last year, I mean, statistically, he was a top 5 wide receiver on third down completion percentage. Although he was the young man that dropped the pass in the fourth quarter of the division game that ended up being an interception, which led to the demise of the Titans' 2021 season. Rest in peace. Right. He's one heck of a blocker, great special teams player. He's really a number 4 wide receiver. Honestly, he might be the number 2 starting the season. Titans don't like starting rookies. That's why we always draft criminals and injured players, because I guess Vrabel has something against a healthy rookie. But yeah, I feel like Kyle Phillips, he may just be thrown in. But I'm still thinking Tennessee's going to get a free agent. There's no way they can roll out the season with these guys. Bunch of replacements, really.
Yeah, there are still a few good names out there, but I think even more pressing of a need than the Titans have, the Colts. The Colts are in
They're thin.
I mean, it's Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman Jr. and then everyone else.
Yeah, I do like Michael Pittman. He is their number one. Like one thing they have that the Titans don't is they have a clear number one. I don't know, he's kind of a number two if you think about it, but he's definitely their number one.
Yeah.
Paris Campbell, I thought he was gonna be really good. Coming out of Ohio State, super fast, but he's also another guy that just can't stay on the field.
Yeah.
We'll see how he does. I believe he's in a contract year.
Yeah.
So he might be good.
I'm pretty sure Ty is still a free agent. I don't think he's.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming back. He's been wanting to retire for so long. I don't see him coming back. At least not to old man Ryan throwing him the ball.
Man, I don't know. Maybe he might like it more than Wentz, but I don't know. Ty is just a very old man at this point. 34 years old. 35.
He acts a lot older than he is.
Oh yeah, it's because he's like torn every possible muscle in his legs.
I hope he retires just because he's a Titan killer, man. He did nothing last year, but he balled out against Titans.
Yeah, no, he's a Texan killer too. I mean, like, I don't think there's been a receiver to average more yards against the Texans.
Yeah, Ty does. Yeah, he does kill you guys every time.
Yeah, it was bad.
I think he's like second most receiving yards in the Texan Stadium or something crazy like that.
Yeah, something ridiculous. He probably had about 1,000 against the Texans alone. Maybe more. I don't know. But behind those two in Indianapolis, I don't even.
I think they brought in
Kiki. Oh yeah, Cuckoo Kiki Cutie. Yeah, they did bring him in. Former Texan, Texas Tech guy. I believe he played with. I'm not sure if he played with Mahomes. I guess he would have.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's it. I mean, Colts really don't have anything at wide receiver. They have Pittman, but that's it. Just double him, and then they shut down that receiving corps. I don't think Alec Pierce is going to be anything either.
And you can't really like level the playing field at all with this. But if you got rookies that you're relying on, if you're going to be safe about it, you label them as a question mark.
Yeah.
And you know what you got with the guys that you played with last year and are veterans. So like, you know what you got with Brandon Cooks. You know what you got with Robert Woods.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get with Michael Pittman, and you know what you're going to get out of Christian Kirk, which is like roughly 900 yards, but $1 million.
I don't even think he's going to do that good.
Probably not, but I don't know. I also think that I've been seeing a lot of people pick the Jaguars as like a chaos team. Like if all hell were to break loose within the AFC South, that the Jaguars might have the pieces to break right enough to like be able to do some sort of crazy like 1% chance playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
So like if Matt Ryan got hurt and if Ryan Tannehill got hurt, those would be the only two threats for the team.
Yeah. I don't know. Malik Willis is going to come in there and lead the Titans to the Super Bowl. So you got that going on.
Yeah, but then you still maybe. I don't know.
No, probably not. Probably not.
Shifting gears a little bit here before we get into semi-local news, but I learned this stat the other day. What quarterback led the NFL in touchdown or in like red zone touchdowns, like percentage or something like that?
Is it Kirk Cousins?
It's Davis Mills.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I saw it. It was like he was the number one quarterback for like red zone efficiency, maybe, or something like that. Like
interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to confirm that and put it in the link down below. But by the way, go ahead, like and subscribe.
Always. Yeah. Do you think sorry, staying on Davis Mills real quick. There has been rumors about Garoppolo going to Houston. Do you see that happening? I don't see it happening. I really don't. I think they do want to roll with Davis Mills.
Yeah, you're right. I think Caserio and Lovie Smith need to figure out if they can, get a cheap quarterback to turn into something, and that way they can spend money on other things, and not have to worry about Ideally, Davis Mills is a good quarterback that can get you, some wins, and that allows you to build the offensive lineup and use that draft capital on other stuff, and then that might get you the playoff kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so I don't. I just feel like I don't know. Ask me something else. I forgot.
Do you think Garoppolo's gonna go anywhere? I know this is an AFC South, but
Oh, Garoppolo will probably end up in Seattle.
see, I don't think he's gonna go. It makes a lot of sense. I just don't see them trading within the division.
No, Seattle would scoop him after they cut him,
Yeah.
and that would be kind of like what we all thought Baker Mayfield's situation was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I think he'll end up in Seattle, or he'll end up. Be crazy if he went to Carolina. Just pure chaos. No, he'll probably end up somewhere where, like, the quarterback is either really, really old. Like, he'll probably end up, yeah, or like backing up Deshaun Watson.
Well, they just signed Josh Rosen, who might be their savior in Cleveland.
Oh yeah, then they'll just cut Deshaun. That'd be hilarious.
I'd cut Deshaun for Josh Rosen.
Absolutely. Just eat that cap hit. You know, it's really funny to me that the Browns, for like all of salary cap and free agent history, have been just like not spending money for like the last like 15 years. And they always are in like the top 5 and like the available amount of money to spend on free agency.
Mm-hmm. And they always got a top pick.
Yeah, always got a top pick. And I feel like they just saved up all that money just to throw it at Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
for a guy who might not play this year. And you're paying his backup to beat you in week 1. Because Baker Mayfield is probably going to be their starter and is playing against Cleveland week 1.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's perfect.
No, it doesn't get better than that.
It's so Browns. Like, it's...
Dude, it's so NFL. Like, how in the world does the NFL come out a winner on that trade? Because the storyline is so perfect. And then you get a resolution to it week 1.
Yeah.
Like...
This is WWE, man. This is NFL entertainment right here.
But then you think about it again with Deshaun, the same Browns team. And you think about when they play Houston, which is like week 13. I feel like they did that just so they could get that like Watson versus the Texans rating because they think he might be suspended for half the season.
Jesus.
So I'm saying, so like, I don't know, four-dimensional chess is very possible here. Anyway, former Titan, former Colt, former Giant, former Raider,
and Panther,
Kerry Collins is now, was it the head coach?
I don't know what his role is, but he is coaching at Franklin High School.
Okay. Franklin High School. Now being
Tennessee is becoming a high school powerhouse. You have Trent Dilfer and David Akers over at Lipscomb Academy. You have Kevin Dyson at Centennial, and then now you have old Kerry Collins in Franklin.
Yep. I don't know, man. Why do you think these people want to coach here? Because I don't even think Trent Dilfer played in Tennessee.
Apparently he's from Nashville, and David Akers is also from Nashville.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think that's where that came from. And then Kerry Collins, I guess his only connection was playing for the Titans. I guess he probably lived here. Like, I guess he just liked it when he stayed here. And was like, I'm just gonna live here. I wouldn't live in New York or Carolina, so Tennessee's probably better.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But that's cool. I'm happy for him. I was always a big fan of Kerry Collins. I liked him and Vince Young. That you never know who's going to start the next day, but he came in, he's serviceable, led us to that 13-3 season where we got robbed from the Baltimore Ravens and the refs in that divisional game in 2008. Tragic day.
But I think in the long term, getting more NFL quarterbacks and, names to be associated with high school sports in Tennessee, I think that's going to make, 1, high school sports around here are going to be awesome.
Yep.
2, more kids are going to want to be in those schools and like coming to Tennessee to play football which is a thing.
Yeah, and then speaking of that, Josh Malone, he played football with a station camp, and he's a Tennessee Titans wide receiver trying to put a name for himself this season as well.
Truth.
Yeah, there's a lot of good college going on. I know Zach Mettenberger is also coaching somewhere nearby. He just took a head coaching job. Titans former quarterback as well.
It's actually, I don't think I can find it right now, but there's a Players of the Week thing that I had from senior year, and it's Jalen Hurd, Josh Malone, and me.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, what could have been?
Okay, so Zach Mettenberger, he's the offensive coordinator at Hillsborough High School, also Nashville.
Oh shit, nice. Nashville's on the rise, folks. You know, there's like a statewide or a nationwide state ranking for like football, high school football. Tennessee's definitely been like steadily upticking that list.
Yeah, we're moving up there with like Florida, Georgia, and Texas.
Yeah. Florida though, that shit's different.
Yeah, California too. I mean, Cal Poly is like half the NFL.
Yeah. That's true, and that's true.
Yeah, they have different uniforms every game, which is ridiculous.
Right.
Bunch of rich private school boys.
Do you have any favorite Titans games or Titans moments that you've either seen or been a part of?
Yeah, man. Probably my favorite one was the 2006 season against the New York Giants. Titans were down 21-0. Fourth quarter, literally, it was completely empty. It was all Giants fans in there, and I was sitting in one of the lower bowls in the end zone, and it was just Giants fans or Titans fans that came all the way from the bottom. We were just kind of like hanging out, watching it, and I never left the game, especially after this game. Titans were down 21-0. Pac-Man Jones ended up having 2 interceptions. Vince Young just lit it up, and Titans tied it up 21-21 the fourth quarter, and then Baronis kicked one through and won the game. And then the stadium just went nuts. Like, there was probably like 20,000 fans out of the 69,000 fan stadium capacity, and it was so loud. It was rocking in there. Yeah, that was probably my favorite game. I was like 13 then, and then also the Chiefs game in 2019 where the Titans came back and beat Patrick Mahomes, and it was loud. It was full of Chiefs fans, and I was talking so much smack to every single one of them. It was incredible. So favorite as a child and favorite as an adult, really.
For me as a Texans fan, probably the game I discovered them, which was like October of 2003. We got annihilated. I don't remember much about the game. I just remember being like, who is this team? Why is this team? Then probably there's a Miami Dolphins game from like 2009 or 10 where
Arian Foster went off.
Andre Johnson just like could not be stopped. And I remember there being like, I think we were down multiple touchdowns at some point. And then I remember the final play of the game where we got like 4 or 5 seconds on the clock. Matt Schaub has the offense down at the goal line, 4th and goal. Everybody's spread out. It's an empty set. And the linebackers just leave the middle of the field wide open. So Matt Schaub just says hut and runs straight into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown. And I remember losing my mind.
Matty Wheels, man. You don't see that very often.
Nah. That was like the only rushing touchdown I saw where he didn't look like he was going to die.
Or just a little sneak over the goal line.
Yeah, no, he ran in there and he did like the whole like, yeah, thing or whatever. I can't do it sitting down, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool game. There was an overtime game against the Jaguars in one of Andre Johnson's last like really good years, where I think he had like 14 catches and 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, including like a 49-yard screen pass for the win in overtime. And I've never been to a Texans game in Houston, obviously, so I don't know how loud those games were, but I know how loud I was. and that was enough to have my dad be like, shut up, like, shut up in there.
Your dad, isn't he a Titans? No, he's a Bears fan, right?
Yeah, he's a bit. Well, when he watched the NFL, he was a Bears fan. Now,
Yeah.
now since Kaepernick, he's just not. And that's, whatever. But
Yeah, he's like, fuck the 49ers.
So we also saw the drop of the Madden ratings for several of the players, with Derrick Henry leading the running back field with a 97.
Yep.
And then
painfully underrated.
And then McCaffrey and
Chubb,
and then Jonathan Taylor, and of course in the AFC South, Reddit subreddits and Facebook groups and anywhere else that you could just find the AFC South trash talk. I mean, a lot of Colts fans had their panties in a bunch about that. Mm-hmm. How are you going to have the NFL leading rusher in fourth place behind two running backs that didn't even play most of the season?
Yeah. I mean, well deserved.
I mean, I feel like
that's
McCaffrey's life, though. Like, McCaffrey hadn't played in like 3 years.
Yeah, see, I mean, McCaffrey's very talented, but yeah, I mean, like, I never drafted, like, as a rule of thumb, I never drafted in fantasy. Like, it's suicide. I mean, if he was there in the 4th or 5th round, I'll take him, but he ain't lasting them. People take him the first 5 picks. Like, it's stupid. It's, I think you're really just committing suicide in your fantasy team if you take him that early.
I think what the best move is for those guys is if you're in the top 5 in your fantasy draft, you definitely take them, and then you trade them like almost immediately.
Early, week 3.
no, like as soon as possible.
Yeah,
because there's still the perception of like he could go off, and you don't know. So you get rid of him early, you get rid of the headache, and you might be able to get something else that's really good in return. Mm-hmm. That's what I ended up having to do last year, and it's the only reason I ended up rectifying one season. But Jesus Christ. But yeah, no, the Madden ratings are pretty interesting. Marlon Mack is a 75.
That's shockingly high. I didn't think he'd be that high.
No, I didn't think he'd be that high either.
Especially with how disrespectful the Madden ratings have been. Like, I remember back in the day, like I remember Reggie Bush was like 87 as a rookie. And like, I feel like that needs to be more accurate because it's kind of hard to get like draft players in Madden, and like it's hard to get them into the 90s. It takes so long. So a lot of times you'll draft them in the 5th round or the 1st round. They're like 67 overall. It's like, all right, come on.
You're drafting them 67 overall in the 1st round. There better be one hidden development, but if they're not, you need to scout them.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, no, but like, I think it was Dameon Pierce is the next listed running back for the Texans, and he's a 73, and his speed is an 86.
See, that's disrespectful. Ain't no running back at 86.
I don't know. They got Rex Burkhead at 82 speed.
That's because he's white. I would do the same thing. All the white guys in Madden, they're real slow.
79 in speed. And and you're the fastest white, like Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey's definitely the fastest white in the game. Like, I think they had Kyle Phillips like painfully slow too. It's like, dude, this guy was really quick in college.
I don't really have anything else. You got any other related news? I know the training camp's going to be starting soon.
Training camp soon. Preseason's coming up. What are we going to do? We need to do game predictions. We need to do something big for the regular season.
Well, I'm trying to get Drew Doherty back on. I'm trying to hit up some Titans media people. Mm-hmm. Trying to get some people on. So hopefully, something like that breaks for us. But we'll probably, I really want to try to go to a Titans training camp practice.
Yeah.
And I want to see if we can like do a live one or something, or like just like interview a couple people and like have some like film it with our phones or something.
Yeah, we'll check out the schedule and make some arrangements.
Yeah, see what we can do. But I think we're running out of time here. So, Blake, thank you as always for coming on, brother. And thank you guys for watching. Please hit that like button. If we can get 5 likes on this, the next video is going to be live. And if I can get anybody to comment, just period, that'd be nice. But yeah, subscribe. We're at 43. We're in the hunt for 50. Help us get to 50 subscribers. Please share it with your friends who are sport minded, football minded, AFC South favorite teams. Share the stuff. We're trying to find our audience.
Yes, sir.
And most of all, thank you and be good people.
Always.